everyone. Welcome to the NDAC community. And so, yeah, Suparna, introduce yourself.
Yeah, welcome team. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon from wherever you are attending. So before going into the session, just we will talk about NDAC community in couple of minutes. So myself, into Suparna Babu. So I am the creator of this NextGen Data Aspirants Community. Currently, I am a Microsoft Fabric community super user, and I do have around 8+ years of experience in the data and analytics field, and I am working in Indian MNC as a specialist data engineering.
Thank you, Suparna. Hello, everyone. My name is Ajay Babu Inturi, and I'm working as a senior Power BI developer at Genpact. And I do have around 7+ years of experience and overall 12+ years of experience as an analyst. And just I wanted to share some session etiquettes. So be on mute throughout the session and respect other participants' points. And if you have any questions, just raise your hand at the end of the QA session, and our speaker and our community members will take that questions. And also, I wanted to share a good news with everyone. Give me a second. Suparna, is my screen visible with the NDAC community website?
Just a minute, it's loading. Yes, now it's visible.
As you know, Suparna, right? We launched NDAC community this year, and so participant, like you want to see our NDAC community website, right? You can see our creator and co-creator, and this is our wonderful team. Like all the successful sessions, right? These are the people, like a backend team, and our speakers, like most reputed speakers, and like we are bringing a lot more in future. And you can see this session completed, right? And if you want to register for the upcoming sessions, right, you can see the upcoming session banner here, and just using this register now button, you can register yourself to the session. And also you can see our session videos, and as well as the tech set, right? Technical videos. You can utilize this YouTube section, and also you can see the latest blogs at the end of the website, and you can see like a lot of technical stuffs. And see if you can see Google BigQuery and the different which Microsoft certification fits your best, right? So there are a lot of blogs here you can utilize, and whenever you have any questions, just use your WhatsApp channels and the Insta and the Fabric community and LinkedIn. Yeah. Thank you, Suparna. Ritesh, I wanted to hand over to you.
Just a minute, Ajay. Before handing over the session to our speaker, so team, at the end of the session, we do have a quiz. So our this session sponsor KSR Data Vision. So whoever winner of the quiz, so we will get you notified, and you will get the AI Clear My Interview practice tool for the free of cost. So please be concentrate on the session. From the session point of view only, we are going to conduct the quiz. So that's all from our side. So now we welcome Ritesh. So Ritesh, the floor is yours now.
Cool. Thank you, Suparna. Thank you, Ajay. So for me, it's good evening, but yeah, from you people point of view, if you're joining from US, if you're joining from Europe or some other locations, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening for the Indian. And very warm welcome to the NDAC community. Let me start sharing my screen. And let me know once the screen is visible. It seems there is some issue with the Teams now, but yeah, let me know once it is visible to you folks.
Sure, Ritesh. Yeah, it's visible now.
Cool. Thank you. So, see, I do have a small presentation, but you may not feel that interactive with the presentation, but we will have this practical session more interactive. So today's session is more about the MCP server integration with Power BI. Now, many might have a question that Okay, you might have went back and searched something related to MCP. What exactly is it MCP? How do you integrate with Power BI? So moreover, it is nothing but the introduction of AI, introduction of connectivity, moreover connectivity with your Power BI semantic models, and the use of automation. How do you use automation with the Power BI? Now, a very big question again is, you might be working professional, you might be, you might have completed your graduation recently, or people who are searching for job. Wherever you go, one common question which comes to everyone is, what is AI? What AI will have an impact? What is Gen AI? How does it have an impact on the individual's roles? How does it have an impact on the developer, or maybe tester, or maybe any person who is working in this IT industry? So that all questions we would also discuss at the end of the session. Now, one thing which I would also highlight is, whatever we are going through, whatever practical implementation we are going through, that practical implementation is nowhere related to take up any person's job. Now, what is it about? If we do this practical implementation, does it have a direct impact on the developer's role? No, there is no direct impact. We would also discuss that part as well. Now, coming to point, what is MCP Server integration with Power BI? Now, for this particular integration, it requires certain tools in the sense, tools which are freely available, need not pay a single penny for that tool. These tools are freely available. You can download, you can access at any point of time. So I'll also help you. How do you download it? How do you connect it with the Power BI? And how do you interact with the Power BI semantic model? Now, in simple terms, what is MCP? Right? Maybe I'll just go to the next slide. Let me start the slideshow. So before going with this introduction, just give me a moment. This would not go that way. Anyways, I'll reduce it to this way, and maybe I'll increase the size of this. So before moving further, let me introduce myself. Maybe if anyone is from KSR team, they already might know me, but just to give my introduction, myself, Ritesh, I have been associated with this IT industry, more specific to last 8 years. I have 8 years of experience all into data engineering and data analytics background. So I work with Microsoft here and there. Maybe I was completely part of Microsoft also. I also worked with Microsoft as a vendor. So I worked with different teams in Microsoft. That's my introduction. I've been associated with different roles in the Microsoft. Microsoft has different domains in it. So this is all about my introduction. Now going to the MCP, right? What exactly MCP is, how, and the first question is, what is MCP first? The long form of MCP, right? So MCP is nothing but a model context protocol. Now, questions again, what is model context protocol? See, MCP is a bridge. It will act like a bridge between your Power BI semantic model. So does MCP only connect with Power BI? No. It can connect with many other agents, many other tools, many other applications. Our primary aim is to understand how do you integrate this MCP, which is acting like a bridge, with the Power BI semantic model. So what semantic model, in the sense, maybe if you have connected your data to the Power BI desktop, you would have created a small data model in the background, right? So how do you, with that data model which you have created, how do you create your own measures? How do you interact with that semantic model? It will help you to process the data faster. It will help you to process the calculations faster. That is more about this MCP integration. Now, what does this MCP do? MCP is a combination of LLM. Now, LLM is your large language model. It is nothing but a AI. Use of AI. It has certain rules and set of restrictions, or whatever you call it, the steps already predefined in it. With this LLM, it will make a bridge between your Power BI and a chatbot. Now, chatbot is what? Chatbot is where you type your question and it will have that answer. It will have that solution from the semantic model point of view. Now, how do you really implement this, right? If I again just switch back to the presentation, the MCP has to be integrated with Power BI. So it enables AI agents. If you see, it is enabling AI agents. Now, first thing which you have to use is how do I integrate, right? Now, for integration, I assume that you people already have this Power BI desktop with you. I mean, that's the common tool which we are focusing on. So if you have a Power BI desktop with you, the additional tools which are required to have this AI and LLM integration, which is MCP integration with the Power BI, is you need to have VS Code. Now, Visual Studio Code, it is commonly available. You need not have it, or you maybe need not have any payment for it. You just have to search for VS Code. Just open the Visual Studio Code, and maybe you can download it, download for Windows, right? So this is smart enough. It will auto detect your operating system. If you're using it in some other operating systems, yeah, there also it would auto detect it. You just have to download this VS Code. Now, once you download this, let me open the VS Code, which I already have with me. This is how the original user interface of VS Code looks like. Now, with this VS Code, what we will do is, see, towards left, now VS Code is smart enough, right? Every tool is coming with certain chatbot. VS Code is smart in the sense, yeah, can you say something? I guess, is it not visible to you folks?
No, it's visible for us, Ritesh.
So what does this VS Code, I mean, towards right, if you see there is a chat session which is already enabled. Now, what is this chat session? Maybe I'll again simplify it for you. I also have a Power BI with me. Let me open this Power BI. Let me grab it here. So this is the Power BI which I already have with me. So for Power BI also, you might see towards rightmost in the ribbon bar, there is a Copilot. Now, why, if there is already an availability of AI tool in Power BI, why are we using this VS Code? Why do we really need this MCP? See, this Copilot, which is already available with Power BI, comes up with a premium P2 license. Now, what is premium? There are different licenses which will come into picture if you are learning Power BI. We have Pro, we have Premium. In Premium, we have Premium per user, Premium per capacity, which is now moreover streamlined into Fabric capacity. But in that also, how many users are constantly accessing this Power BI? There are sub licenses. Many of us may not know these licenses like P1, P2, P3. Nowadays, there is a new introduction, which is P4 as well. Most of the companies have P1 licenses. P1, they will go with premium, but in the background, they have a I mean, you can call it as a limitation of P1 license. So most of the companies do not have the support of Copilot. Even if you are working professional, you can try this. Many of you, or almost every client, also doesn't prefer with P2 because P2 is costliest license. Because you end up going P2, P3, these are very costlier. And P4 is the recent introduction, so it is way more costlier than the other P1, P2, P3 also. Right, so this Copilot, though it is directly available inside this Power BI tool, it is not directly possible to interact. So it will always ask you to select a workspace. And by the time if you select also, it would not give you the list of workspaces because the selected workspace or the managing Copilot is unable to use because it is not publicly, or P2 license is not openly available, right? So this is one limitation. Now you can overcome this limitation with the help of MCP. Now I assume that you people might have downloaded this Visual Studio Code. For Visual Studio also, you will get same like Copilot, which is nothing but your chatbot. You can interact with this VS Code. Now, few more extensions are required to download to have this MCP integrated with your semantic model. So what all that extensions are? Once you open this VS Code, towards left, you will get some options, like some icons are there. You just have to go to the extensions icon. And in this extensions icon, there won't be anything installed in you. For me, I can see there are some applications which are installed for me, but for you, it would be very new. So what you have to mention, you have to download some additional extensions, which are part and parcel of VS Code. You just have to mention GitHub. See, if you just mention GitHub also, it will give you all the list of extensions which are available or which are related to GitHub. The very first extension you have to download, which is your GitHub Copilot, right? So if you just click on it, see, it would open and it would ask you to download. Download in the sense, for me, it is asking me to uninstall because it is already pre-installed. For you, it would ask you to install or download. You just have to download this. Now, whenever you are downloading this GitHub Copilot, the VS Code will also ask you to log in first. What login is required? You just have to go to your browser. Let me just go back to the browser. Here, just mention GitHub. You just have to mention GitHub, github.com. If you just log in with this github.com, see here, it would ask you to sign up. GitHub is totally free. It is open source, mostly open source. You just have to sign up with your whichever email ID you have. Use that same email ID with the VS Code. Whatever VS Code we have, use that same email ID. Now, how do I log in? See, once you download this GitHub Copilot, it downloads two extensions. It downloads GitHub Copilot. Along with that, it also downloads GitHub Copilot Chat. Chat is what you need to interact, right? You need to interact with the semantic model, the Power BI semantic model. So you just have to download these two extensions, or if you download the first also, it would automatically get the second extension. Now, once you download this, there is one more extension which you have to additionally download is your MCP server. You just mention MCP, it would first prompt you Power BI modeling MCP server. You just click on it, you have to download this. For me, it is already downloaded. I mean, I can have that option to uninstall it. So you download these three extensions. If you download first extension, first and second would be auto downloaded. Then this third extension, you have to download this. And once you download this, you may close this option, the window. Maybe you can also close this extension. Blank, fair enough. You can extend this chat option. Chat option, which is by default available, you can extend this chat option. Now, in this chat option, you just have to scroll. You have some options like agent is there, ask is there. You just go with the agent, which is by default. Now, towards right of it, once you log into the VS Code with that same email ID which you have used in the GitHub, right here in the GitHub website, the email ID which you have used, if you log in, see here towards account, I can see I've logged in now. So you can log in with that same email ID here. Once you log in, here you will get models, the models which you can use to interact or chat with the MCP server, which is acting like a bridge to the Power BI semantic model. So you can choose any model. I've gone with the default, which is the first model, Claude. You can go with this model. Now, what you have to do is, I have this Power BI. Now, this Power BI doesn't have any visualization. It is completely blank. Now, see, even though I'm using AI, every AI tool has certain limitation. So that limitation we will try to see afterwards. But this particular report has a data model already available with me. Now, what is data model? That means I have already connected some tables and I have created a data model. You take up any tables, you take up any data model, you create your own data model. It is all open to you. You can download any particular tables, right? If you're really practicing, you can get multiple dimension and fact tables. So here you might see there are multiple fact tables. Now, this is also very different model you might have seen, right? Rarely you might have seen one fact table or two fact tables. Here we have 4 fact tables and 4 dimension tables. Now, I myself have created this complex model just to make sure that how really MCP is useful. So what I've done, I've already imported this data to the Power BI, and I've done a basic modeling. It is not that you should use the same model. You can use any model, any data set. So what I will do is, see, I do not have the data model which I have already modeled. I do not have any DAX functions. If I just scroll down, see, there is not even a single DAX function. So what I would like to do with the same data model and data sets which I've loaded to the Power BI, I want to create certain measures which are useful for business, right? Assuming that this is for an investment bank, this is for a banking service or a banking vertical, I would like to create a report out of these data sets which are shared with me. But for creating that reports, I also need to create certain important business related DAX functions which are useful for business. So what I will do is, I'll just go back. See, I'm not writing any function manually. I'll just go back to the VS Code, which I already have. Here, I will try to write a command. Now, write in the sense, I'll try to give a command. What command I'll try to give is, let me just scroll down. See, this is the original command, which I'll paste it in the chatbot. Now, you might feel it's very small, but yeah, I mean, that's how it is. So connect to, I'll replace this file name. So whatever file you have in the Power BI, see, first thing you have loaded the data to the Power BI, you have done the data modeling. Once the data modeling is done, you can save this file. Though it doesn't have any single visual, you can save this file. It will be saved, right? I've saved it today at 3:40 in the afternoon. So whatever file you have saved in whichever location, irrespective of whatever location is it, the name of the file should be typed here in the VS Code. Connect to investment bank. There is a space. Connect to investment bank in the Power BI desktop. This is the original file name. And I'll just click on send. It will auto create a connection from this chatbot to that particular file. See, it is running its own query. I need some clarification to help you to connect to the, is it a Power BI desktop file? Is it a semantic model which is already published to the workspace? Now you have full flexibility. You can interact with the file which is in your local system. You can interact with the file which is already published to the semantic, through the Fabric workspace, right? Usually whenever you develop any report, you can publish it to the Power BI service. Now I have used the option to connect to the PBX file which is in my local machine. See, I'm not connecting to the semantic model which is already published. I'm connecting to the semantic model which is in my local system. The reason why I'm using this option is, see, if you publish any report and if you do any changes with the chatbot, it will directly impact that production report or semantic model. Why to do that in the service, right? Do it in your local system. If everything looks good, you can save it and you can publish it, right? So I'm using my local system, the local PBX file. So I have to just mention it's a local PBX file. So it would go back and search in your local system. It will take some time. Now it is asking me whether any part of, see, the full path, it is asking me, I need the full path of this investment bank. Where is it located? So, if you want, or if you don't have the path, I can search for it. Do you know what's the folder name? Folder name is, see, I know where the folder is. So I'll mention that where the folder is. The folder name is downloads. And in that subfolder is investment banking. There is a folder called as investment banking. Inside that, this PBX file is kept. So it will automatically go and fetch that file. See, now it has fetched. Search the PBX file in the folder. Here is the original location. Now it is asking me, the chatbot is asking me, please allow me to connect. You just have to click on allow. It will take some time. It will read its own course of data. Perfect. Again, see, it has read all this information correctly. It will again click on allow. It will ask you. So there is this terminal window also. See, if you get confused, you can keep this aside. Now, as you're using this chatbot for the first time, it will take some time to adapt, right? It is not that. Done. The Power BI desktop is now opening the investment bank file. The file should load in few seconds. Okay. Now, we know that the file is already opened in the background. The file is already opened in the background. Now, what I'll do is, it will take few seconds. Done. Though it has opened, it has not opened, let it be as it is. If you haven't opened the PBX file, it will automatically open it in the background. Now, what you can do with this chatbot? See, I know I don't have any DAX functions which are created in it. But what I will do is, I will try to create a new DAX functions inside this already available data model. There is not even a single DAX function you can see, not even a single DAX function. So what I will do is, let me try to write a query. Query in the sense chatbot. I'm trying to chat. So I want to create important DAX measures in the connected semantic model, which is useful for business. And create in respective tables. Now we have many tables. Create in respective tables as it requires. So I'll just click on enter. So it will read whatever you're writing, it will read, it will have its own course of action. Just have to allow it. Now you will get many allow commands going further. So it is asking me connection details, correct or not? Okay, let me add it. It did found. So let me explore the table and structure to understand the measures. See, it is smart enough. It is trying to explore everything. The only thing is you have to correctly model the data. If your modeling is something different, it will work as per that model, as per that relationships. Right. So see, you will see many allow buttons. Why there are so many allow buttons? Because there are different tables, right? For every table, it will ask you to allow. So you just have to allow multiple times. So it will read multiple tables, multiple sources, whichever you have connected. Right, excellent. Now it has understood the model. Let me create the important DAX measures. See, there is not even a single DAX measure in this Power BI. If I just scroll down, there is not even a single DAX measure. But let's see the magic. So again, it is asking me multiple allows. Why? Because it is creating multiple measures, right? For every measure to have it created in your local file, you should allow that. So you allow multiple times. Just scroll down, allow multiple times. Multiple times in the sense, multiple allow statements or conditions you will get. So every allow is a new DAX measure. Now at the last, are you sure you want to perform this action? If you click on respond, you will get an option. Yes, continue with this operation. Done. Let it take its time, right? Let it do it. I see the XML reader connection issue. Let me create a new transaction and try again. Okay, let's see. Maybe there is some connectivity issue. Right. So let me allow it again. It has already added few measures. Now it is doing some additional measures, some advanced measures, right? You might have asked only few measures, but it will do its own course of action. It will create some advanced measures also. And what all measures are created, you can also list down. Right. So it is asking me, should I commit all these measures? Let it commit. Done. So it is listing down all the measures which it has created. Measures. Fine. Now I'll just go back to the Power BI. A big question. Why am I not able to see all these measures, right? Though it has created. Now you see, I've just refreshed. If I just scroll down, you can see slightly small measures, small functions would have already created in it. Now, maybe few measures might be wrong. Why? Data type issues. Our data may not be that clean, right? For having cleaned data, there is no AI tool in this world which will help you to clean the data. Data cleaning has to be done manually. It requires human intervention. AI can only help you to polish some jobs. So this is polishing. We are doing measures, right? There might be some measures, there might be some issues. Some measures would have been automatically created very well. So some measures may have some data type issues, some functions may not work in that particular case. You just have to manually go back and see why that issue happens or why that issue persists. See, it is not able to find fact performance table or column returns in the fact performance cannot be found. Maybe some columns are missing. You have to just replace them. There is no returns, there is returns PCT. Right, as I've said, it's an AI tool. It might be a case that you may not be able or AI may not be able to understand. You just have to replace them. It will work. It will automatically update. The only thing is you have to update the column names. It will work. Right. So some measures might have errors, but it is automatically creating measures for you. So this is one advantage of using MCP, that if you have already loaded, cleaned data, you have already modeled the data, but there is a very big question mark that what all measures I would like to create. You again have to read all the data, right? But with this use of MCP server, you can directly connect it with this MCP LLM agent, and it will help you to read the data model, and it will create its own course of measures which are useful for business. Now, you also will have a question that these measures are very easy, right? It can create complex measures also. Just started it. You can also have an interaction that I would like to create some complex measures. I mean, I'm not satisfied with the basic measures. I would like to have some complex measures. You can also chat that as well. It will create some additional measures for you. And you want all these measures to be available in one single measure table. Even that you can type it here. This you can just give a try, but I'll also give you a different option, a different try. What different try? See, I'll paste it here. Generate a Hindi translation for my model, including table, column, and measures. See, I want a Hindi translation. You can use your own language. LLM supports almost every Indian language. So you can have your, if you want to understand the model, right? Maybe you're comfortable with your language, you can read your language, right? So you can have this. Generate a Hindi translation for my model, including tables, columns, and measures, which can be useful for a new developer to start with. I'll just mention, right? Done. Now it will ask you multiple allows because it is reading multiple data, multiple tables, multiple measures. It will take some time. So it has read some information and it will do its course of transformations, right? So let me allow. Now, some might feel it is slightly slow. So it's not that slow. The models which we are using are all free models. You have premium models also. If you are satisfied with what this MCP is working, you can purchase premium models as well. Premium models will not ask you these many questions. It may reduce your chat consistency. I mean, it will have that interactivity directly and it will auto generate everything depending on the premium model which you select. But here it is asking multiple questions, right? That's fine. That's fine. Right? We are going with all free or open source. Right? So it is reading each and every point. That's the reason now it is asking me to commit. At the last, it has committed. It has generated all that Hindi transformation. For tables, measures, whatever columns you have, everything it will generate. Maybe if you're not aware about certain words, right, you might be coming from some different background. You can have, right? Now, the reason why I have changed it to Hindi, I mean, we are based out of India, but people who are from out of India, maybe European folks, there are certain European countries where the people do not have a good access to English communication. For them, it is very beneficial because they might be from France, they might be from Russia, they might be from Belgium, they might be from Germany. They are more focused on their local languages. For them, if the English is not, maybe certain English words are very difficult for them to understand, so they can have their own transformation, right? They can translate it. So this MCP server will help you to reduce an additional effort, a manual effort. You can easily have an interaction with your Power BI data model or semantic model. Now, I suggested to have a local connection. You can have this connected to your workspace or already published data or data model or your report in the semantic model or maybe more kind of workspace, right? But if you update there, your workspace will have a direct impact. That means it will impact the production report because usually we publish production reports only, right? Now, one thing which you have to understand, if you want to publish this, like if you want to interact with the Power BI already published, if I just go back, I have my Power BI open. Let this load. Right. So I am inside a particular workspace. And in this workspace, I've already uploaded that same report. If you want to interact with this online version, you can still interact, but the only thing is your Power BI should have a Fabric trial or a Fabric license because only in that case it will interact. And your admin, that means your Power BI Fabric admin should give MCP direct connectivity because Power BI service is a separate tool and MCP LLM is a separate tool. So you need to have that connectivity. How? You just, if you are an admin, or maybe you can go back and ask your admin, go to admin portal. Once you open this admin portal, in the admin portal, this is how it looks. You will get a filter option here in the tenant settings. You just mention MCP here. You just have to enable this MCP so that your MCP LLM can read this semantic model data, which is already published here. Only if you have this enabled, which is not by default. This is disabled in many companies because no company wants their semantic model to be accessed by third-party tool. MCP is a third party for Power BI service, right? But if you can do it with your local file, this is more beneficial. But you have that flexibility to connect your online published semantic models or reports as well. Now, this is a very small glimpse. I'll also give you one more glimpse. What that one more glimpse is, I would like to understand, maybe you are very new to this, maybe you're very new to a team and the team is already working on certain report. The report is already developed. You want to understand that report. If you go through that report manually, it will take some time. But if you have already available notes, nowadays no companies are having documentation very clearly. They'll always say that use AI, use Gen AI. So you can have that, right? So what I will do is, I'll first analyze. What analyze? I'll type it here, or maybe I already have a command. Analyze my model naming conventions and suggest renames to ensure consistency. I want consistent names. I'll type this. Let's see what it suggests. Maybe you're not able to understand. Sometimes what happens, right? If you create a Power BI report, some tables are not in the correct naming convention. We may not be aware that whether it's a dim table, dimension table or a fact table. So you can rename your temporary PBIX file also. Right. So it is asking me multiple allow statements. Okay, let me allow it. It will read tables, it will read measures, it will read columns. So it will suggest if there are any naming conventions to be changed. See, these are correct, but wherever there are changes requested, it will have that changes also. Everything is auto-generated. Now, one common question which you can get is, I can also chat with the chat GPT the same way, right? But you can chat with ChatGPT only when you already have an, I mean, if that ChatGPT is having an access to the semantic model, which is not possible. You cannot share your semantic model data publicly, right? It is a security breach. So if you share it with a Copilot, if you share it with a ChatGPT, it's a security breach. But here, the MCP server which you have logged in, you can log in with your company credentials. This will stay with your company only. This will not go publicly. So you have full flexibility, full security also, because this information will stay within the MCP server which you have logged in with your LLM model. This will not go outside your company, right? So it will suggest. Now I'll also, maybe you want to document your semantic model. Document in the sense, I want to create a document that what my data model is, what all tables I have, because I want to share it with some other person. You can just type generate maybe docx file that provides the complete professional documentation of semantic model. So it will again do its course of action. It will read the information, read the model. It will read relationships also, and it will create a document for you. And whatever prompts I'm giving, right, these are very limited prompts. You have full flexibility. You can ask your own course of question to this. But there is a limitation. What that limitation is also, we will discuss it after this. Once it is created a document, we will try to discuss that part as well. Now, by the time it is creating, let me open this whiteboard. See, this chatbot, you can call it as a Gen AI chatbot. But the only thing is, if you provide a valid data model or a semantic model, only then it will work. Now, a question. Who will create this valid semantic model? There is no AI tool in this world which will create a model for you. And take it in written in future also, you'll never get a tool. The only thing is it will suggest. AI tools will suggest that if you give this table name and if you give some 5 tables are there, you name that 5 tables. You also have to name what all columns are present in that. And it can then suggest you that how do you create relationships. But the relationships which AI tool is suggesting, it is not always 100% correct. So it requires a manual intervention. Now, does this MCP server will take any job because it's a AI, right? No, it will not take anyone's job. If a developer used to take 4 or 5 days to create measures and then come up with, okay, these are the measures which I've created, which might feel maybe useful for business. Then business will go back and check, okay, these measures are correct. Then you start with your reporting or your visualization. That 4 to 5 days time would be saved. You can only take half a day to automatically generate the measures and you can share it with the team. So reduce of time, right? It is not it's not taking anyone's job. It is just improving the performance. So that is your Gen AI. Gen AI will not have a very big impact on anyone's real-time job. It will have an impact on the performance of a job. Right? If a person is trying to take 1 day, it will take 1 hour. If a person is trying to take 1 week, it will take 1 day. It will reduce by 90-95% that additional effort. So that is where this MCP LLM AI will come into picture. Now let me again go back. I guess it has created a document for you. Now it has created a document. See, it has everything in it. You just have to read it. Now the big question is what it has generated. I mean, can I download this? Let's try, right? I'm just trying to scroll it above. Can I download this? See, this is a Python command. You open any free Python editor online, you copy this and you paste it here, it will generate a document for you and it will share it with you. The question is, you cannot share this semantic model with any AI tool openly, but you can save, or here you can give access to the MCP because it is within your environment. That is one security option which this MCP comes along with. Right, so this is one advantage. Now, very limited options we have seen, but with time being, you can have many other commands options also you can type and it will generate answers for you. Now, one important thing, it is asking me allow. Somewhere I guess it will download the file for me also. Let's see. Now, by the time this is getting generated, there is some error it seems at the last. Unterminated string. Let me fix the syntax error. See, it is automatically fixing its own error. Now, there is one thing which you cannot do with this. If I just go back to my report, the report doesn't have a single visual. Can this AI or MCP LLM generate a visual for me? Try, right? Why not? You can try. Let this first get it sorted, the syntax error. Right, it has auto adjusted. It is running its own. It has created its own documentation. If there are some components which are not installed, it is also installing its own components. Done. So it is running that in the background. See, you can download this. Where is it downloaded? Where is it available? The folder where you have that investment bank, right? That particular PBX file, there only it has given me an option to open that. This is all available. You just have to open the downloads. I guess I have many things in this. Let me see if I can open it. By the time this is getting opened, it will take some time to download, right? So local connections. Now, one thing which you cannot do with this MCP server is you cannot create a visual. I want to create a basic visual. Let's suppose, let me see what all measures I have. I have total portfolio value, which is sum of some market value. I want to create a card visual for this total portfolio value. Let me copy this name of a measure. I'll go to the VS Code again. Can you create a visual, maybe a card visual? I'll keep it to card visual for this measure. What is our measure? Let me mention that measure name in same Power BI or PBX file. Let's see if it is able to create. The user is asking me. See, I appreciate the request, but creating visualization like card requires Power BI Desktop UI, which is outside the scope of MCP model. Visualization, you have to manually do it. So every AI tool comes up with certain advantages, but there are always one or two limitations, that's where a developer has to grab it and he has to develop that. Like visualization, data cleaning, no AI tool will help you there. It will just suggest you, but if you want to create some measures, if you want to have some changes in the semantic model, you can interact with your semantic model also. If you want to change some directions also, bi-directional you want single directional, you want to change some relationships also, even that is possible with the same MCP LLM model. So that's how the world is evolved now. Yes, Gen AI is future, but it is not the only component. There are many manual efforts are required. So a big question mark on a developer's role? No, there is no question mark. A person who uses AI will stay in the market. But a person who is not learning, right, who is not willing to learn this Gen AI concepts or anything, like MCP is one of them. There are many other Gen AI concepts. Who is not willing to learn, they'll always stay at that same pace, right? You might take 5 days to develop that visuals or maybe some measures, but a person who knows this can do it in 1 day, half a day. So that's where this MCP server is important. Now we have seen very limited options, but it has many other options. You can just explore these options if you want. You can Google it. You can, see, this is very new introduction. This is, the number of options for MCP are very limitedly available in internet, but yeah, it will evolve, right? It will take some time. It will evolve that as and when the product evolves, as and when the LLM evolves, that model evolves, it will evolve. The MCP will also evolve, right? So this is all about MCP. Let me again switch back to the presentation. See, all the slides will have basic details. The last slide will give you what is the importance and what all validation you have to do. First thing, your connectivity should be good, because many times people come up with a question that LLMs or your models, right, your Gen AI models are not interacting correctly, not able to connect with our reports. Your connection should be crystal clear. It has to be done by a manual intervention only. Authentication and authorization. Some people forget your passwords. They may not be able to recall that passwords. You should remember them. And at the last, whatever MCP is suggesting, you should always go back and manually check it with certain visuals, basic visuals. Unit testing has to be done. Though it gives you 95 to 98% accuracy, MCP has a certain limitation that at point of time it might give you wrong results, which will vary from 0 to 2%. You have to go back. You have to go back and check that. You have to do that manual testing. So that was all about MCP. That was all about LLM or Gen AI, which you can use it to interact with your semantic model. I'll pause it for a few seconds. And if you have any questions, please feel free to raise your hand. I'll be able to answer that. But prior to that, I'll hand over it to Suparna. Maybe you can take it. And if you have any questions or maybe if you want to share anything, Suparna, over to you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Ritesh. It's a really wonderful and insightful session. So I know this is MCP is a very brand new introduction in the Power BI. This was launched very recently. So team, as mentioned by Ritesh, we will have a Q&A session now. So prior to that, let me share my screen. Just we will start the quiz, and in parallel we will go for Q&A also. So let me share my screen. Please let me know once my screen is visible.
It's visible.
Yes, Suparna.
It's visible.
Yeah, just a minute. So please scan this QR code, and as well as please click this form.office.com, this link, and you can share your valuable feedback, and as well as you can answer the quiz. So let me share the.
Suparna, could you please share the forms link in the chat box that is not clickable?
Oh, yes. Let me just a minute. Let me share that in the. Yeah, just now I shared the form link in the chat box. Meanwhile, Ritesh, I have one question from my side regarding this MCP. So now you shown for the local file accessing. Let's say if I have my semantic model which is presented in the Fabric workspace and the backend is connected with, let's say it's connected from ADLS or Azure SQL database. So when I'm going to authenticate, so do I need to follow the that credentials and all? We need to how we can access the backend databases?
Okay, cool. So with this semantic model, see, with MCP, we are only accessing semantic model, the model which is only with Power BI. We are not going back and checking the original data, where is it coming from. Yes, we can check that, okay, this table is connected from SQL, this table is connected from CSV file, this table is connected to Snowflake, something like that we can see. But data which is already available in the semantic model, that data you will be accessing. So you need not authenticate the original data source, you only authenticate the Power BI, the semantic model or Fabric workspace. Authentication is only with Power BI, not on top of that.
This is very nice. This is very cool feature. So actually what I thought, so we need to go back into the backend data sources. It means that just we need to pass the credentials of the Fabric workspace.
Yes, credentials of Fabric workspace, and that Fabric workspace should enable, that admin should enable the MCP connectivity because it's a third party tool.
Yes, correct. Respective tenant admin need to enable that option to the all the users, all respective AD groups.
Yes, that has to be there.
Yes, correct. I agree.
Hi, Ritesh. Uh, Anusha here. Continuing to what Suparna's question, I have one question from mine. So, in the at the desktop level, you have used MCP for creation of measures, but I want to understand when you deploy a semantic model to a service which has created measures with this MCP. How would the service differentiate between a semantic model which is backed by MCP and something which is not?
No, it would not differentiate because service is not that
Okay.
strong enough to understand who has created that measure. It is just
Okay.
that
So
you are connecting with that Gen AI. It will just assume that there is some report or semantic model which is being deployed to me.
okay. So when you are saying that in the Fabric, I'll have to enable the MCP in the
Admin
control.
settings
I
or
mean the
tenant
admin
settings.
center.
Yeah.
Like why would I require it? Why would I require it if my semantic model has nothing to do with the service? Why
Correct.
would what advantage is there for enabling it?
Okay. So the reason, see, if you publish a report, that report is with Power BI service. Now that service would have been owned by certain team. That team has that full authority to who is able to, like, you have published a report, you are a developer, but you want to share that report with some user. That user should also have access to the workspace or report, right? Either full workspace or a complete report, one single report. So you give reader access, which is viewer access, you give contributor, you give member, or you give admin. Depending on whatever access that end user has who can check the report, only then he'll be able to view that report, right? Similarly, what MCP does, MCP doesn't know that MCP is just like a user there. So MCP doesn't know that, okay, what I want to access, or even Power BI service doesn't know who is this MCP. That is where you have to enable that admin tenant settings. See, that is one additional part you have to do. But if you enable this, one thing which you have to understand, it will be breach of security because anyone with that LLM can come up and connect to that. The only thing is it should be given to individual user level rather than giving it a complete MCP server level. Even that is possible, but that is an additional effort. You need to create a AAD group or Azure Active Directory, Azure Entra ID. Then you need to give access to the MCP server. So that's an additional part.
Okay, so my question to that is, Ritesh, so my ID has been enabled in the Power BI service, so I get to edit the semantic model at the service level. by using the MCP, correct?
No, MCP is also separate user. That's what I'm
Okay.
trying to say. MCP will act like a user. It will not act like you are logged in from that MCP. It will act like I'm a new user. Give me the access.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
So team, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. So Anusha, do you have any other questions?
Yeah, I do have a couple of questions, but I'll wait for others. Post which I'll take my I'll ask my
Yeah,
questions.
sure. Team, if anyone having any questions, please feel free to ask.
Hi Ritesh, Magdeshwaran here.
Hey, good.
Yeah, based upon the license, the data fetching time will vary, or the cost is depending upon but the default depending upon the license, it will be consistent across the license.
Okay, so it depends on the model which we are using. For us, most of might have logged in with the open source direct connection, right? So models will have a restricted maybe time to get that data is more, fetch the data is more. But if you go with premium models, it might be in few milliseconds also. Rather, what we have seen here, it would have taken 10 seconds, 20 seconds to respond. It could be in 1 second or 1 millisecond as well. So it depends on the model. But see, waiting 20 seconds and waiting 1 day is different. 20 seconds we can anyways wait, right? So even though it's an open source or free login, you can still have it with some patience.
Okay. For data validation, everything we have to do manually only after creating
Any
the
AI tool, if you consider data validation, has to be done manually. Yeah.
Okay.
As I've said, 95% accuracy is there, 95%, which is, it's almost at par 100. But that 5% additional effort, you have to bridge that. You have to take that gap.
Okay.
Ritesh, I will ask one more question. We know this was launched recently, very recently in the market. So in your network or in your circle, so is there any organizations are started using it?
First thing, every organization, whichever tool is launched, right, maybe with respect to any AI configuration, the first thing what they'll do is they'll analyze for 2-3 months whether there is a security available for this tool. So this was launched almost 4 months back, probably in the month of September or October. That's what I assume that, yeah, somewhere around that particular time frame only. So many users or developers are personally using it to make sure how do you interact, how do you improve the process. But ideally, there is no service company which is particularly using it except Microsoft, because Microsoft product of VS Code is also product of Microsoft. They can, blindly they can go with this. Though their data security, everything, they can manage it manually, personally, but only Microsoft is using because it's their product company. But I've seen many companies are insisting to have this, though they are using it with their personal logins, but in near future, it would be very beneficial. For now, no, but in future, it would be yes.
Yes.
Ritesh, any like while I understand your session was more in terms of how a developer can take this as an advantage to speed up the development process. Any advantage for the business users, basically the report users?
Yes, for report users also. See, this MCP server is more specific to developer. For report users, maybe if a business user, maybe he wants to read that report, he wants to collect some important points also, he can aggregate that points with the help of the chatbot. What he can do is he can prompt, right? So the only thing is the visual should be created then in that case. Though you are interacting with semantic model, the visual should also be created. So basis of the
Can that be
semantic
done on the Power BI service level then, Ritesh?
service
It
level.
cannot write
No, service
as
level. See, service level, you have some options like subscription. All that options are there. But here, if you really want, irrespective of whatever visual you are creating, only on the data model, I want to have some important business email to be generated. You can do that also.
right now in our company, like we are looking at for tools where the business users can ask questions to the data model, and we are exploring Copilot and data agent in that way. but I guess the MCP is not yet ready for taking the questions from the users, right? In terms of asking what my data is containing.
Even that is possible, but yeah, as I've said, right, everything comes with security. So if your company is allowing you, you can try that. But if you're not able to try it, then maybe we have to again explore it.
Okay.
But as I've said, right, it's a very new product, very, very new product. It will take some time. That if you just go back to 2023 when Fabric was launched, everyone would have said that Fabric is waste. But now slightly people are changing, right? They're saying that though the costly Fabric is costlier, it is a good product. It will take some time to evolve. MCP will not take 1 year or 2 years. It might take few months also or few weeks also to evolve. But for sure it will evolve. It is very beneficial for all the users, except if you are an end user, you don't know anything about Power BI, then it is very difficult to interact with this tool also.